kinder and first graders. All right, it's Miss Law, and this week I hope you're ready for some more PE. We're going to continue working on our mindful movement with our bodies and continue practicing our stretches. Today's class will start up stretching our body parts just like we've practiced since the beginning of our digital learning. After we stretch out our body parts, then we're going to build off of what we read over the last 2 weeks with the book My Daddy is a Pretzel. This week we won't be looking at the storybook. We'll be looking at the set of cards that goes with the book. I will show you a picture of each pose, while I do it, and also you can hear my instructions. Remember, when we do mindful stretching, it's important of a few things. 1, make sure you're wearing comfortable clothes and take off your shoes and socks. 2, make sure you have enough personal space for both your body while standing and while laying down. The third thing you need to make sure of is that you're listening to my words carefully and not letting your body get out of control. It's super important that when we do these stretches, that your brain is listening to your body and your body is listening to your brain. You should never do a pose that makes you say ouch. If you feel your body saying ouch, go ahead and come out of that pose and just rest and wait to join us in the next one. All right, I hope you're ready. Let's get going. Let's go ahead and start with stretching out our body like we've been practicing the last few classes together. Everybody touch your neck and say with me, neck. We're going to stretch our neck first. Remember, you don't want to scrunch your shoulders up to your ears, nor do you want to force your ear towards your neck. You just want to gently touch one ear right now. Gently let that ear move towards your shoulder, and you should feel the stretch on your opposite side. Go ahead and touch where you feel the stretch gently. And say it with me, I'm stretching my neck. Good job. Breathe in through your nose and bring your head back to center. Good job. Shake it out. Now we're going to do the other side. Remember, don't scrunch up your shoulders. Just let your ear gently go towards your shoulder. Touch the opposite side where you feel the stretch and say it with me again. I'm stretching my neck. And let it come back to center. Great. Let's move on with our shoulders. Everybody touch their shoulders and say shoulders. This is where you need to make sure you have that personal space we talked about, because you're going to start by swinging both arms open and closed. Now just swing one arm. Now I keep that arm straight across my body, and my arm that's not in front of my body comes underneath to make a hook. I gently hold, and I should be feeling my stretch right here, right now. Say it with me. I am stretching my shoulder. Can you feel the stretch? If not, go ahead and bring your folded arm a little bit closer to your body. Go ahead and release it. Shake it out. Nice job. Swing both arms side to side. Let's stretch our other shoulder. Now the arm that you already stretched, the shoulder you already stretched, leave that arm by your body, by the side of your body. And the other arm comes straight across. You hook underneath and pull your hand towards your body. You should feel your stretch in your opposite shoulder this time. If you accidentally got the same shoulder, it's okay. Go ahead and switch now. Say it with me. I am stretching my shoulder. Good job. And release. Shake it out. Next up is our arms. For this one, I'm going to turn around so you can see what I do. I raise one hand in the air, and I pretend like I have a scratch in the middle of my back. Now, I'm going to, with my opposite hand, I'll turn back around so you can see me. With my opposite hand, I gently pull my elbow, and I'm stretching my arm, the muscle on the underside of my arm. Say it with me. I'm stretching my arm. Shake it out. All right, time to do the other side. Raise your other arm in the air. Scratch in the middle of your back. With your free hand, gently pull on your elbow from above. Say it with me. I'm I'm stretching my arm. Good job. Shake it out. Nice. Now we're going to transition. Oh, actually, we have one more standing one before we transition to the floor to do a couple more stretches. For this one, you want to make sure that you have a wall or a piece of furniture that you can hold on to. For me, I'm going to hold onto my wall over here, a little bit off camera. You're going to bend one knee in front of you, and then bring your foot behind. Reach behind and hold. There's a side version so you can see I'm holding my foot behind my body. My opposite arm is holding the wall so that I don't get wobbly and fall unsafely. All right, say it with me. I am stretching my leg. Right now I'm stretching the muscle in the front of my leg right here called my quadriceps. Go ahead and release it and shake it out. You're going to do the other side. If you feel confident and you want to try, you have enough space to safely do so, and you want to try balancing, the way you can do this stretch is put both arms out to the side. Lift your opposite foot behind you. Notice how I keep my other arm I'm not using out to help me balance in case I get wobbly. And once again, we're stretching the muscle in the front of our leg. If I turn to the side, you can see me holding my foot behind here. And say it with me, I'm stretching my leg. Shake out those legs. Great. Let's go ahead and sit down where we're at, and let's go ahead and get started with some of our stretches. Remember what we said in our introduction, that our brain has to listen to our body. If we feel our body saying, ouch, that hurts, that means we need to stop the stretch and come back from it. We also have to have our body listen to our brain. We can't just get into the pose without listening to the cues before we hear them. So let's start out with a plank. Plank is a great pose for helping build our core strength. Our core is the center of our body, and we're going to squeeze our belly buttons when we get into the plank position to help us hold ourselves up. So let's get started. To do a plank, we're going to come onto all fours. So you want to start with your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. You want to step one foot back, tucking your toes under. Notice how my other knee is still resting down on the ground. Now I look at my hands. I want to make sure that they're spread far apart with my fingers and that they're all the way pressed down to my mat. So I'm distributing my weight evenly. On 3, I'm going to step my right foot back, and I'm going to make sure that my body is as straight as a board by squeezing my belly button and focusing on my breaths to hold myself in a strong, straight line. Try it with me. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Step your other foot back and try and hold that plank with me for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Now we're going to move on to our second pose. Our second pose today is the boat pose. The boat pose is another great pose to help us strengthen our core of our body. So to get into boat pose, we're going to go ahead and flip back around to sit on our bottoms with our knees in the air and our feet flat on the ground. You're going to bring your palms to the side of your knees outside. You don't want them to be inside. Outside of your knees. And to get into the boat, you're going to just slightly tip yourself back until your feet come off the floor and hold yourself here. If you need a little extra support, you can hold onto your knees to help balance yourself. If you want to make it more challenging, bring your hands together, and then as you extend your feet, bring your arms to each side of your knees. Go ahead and tip your boat back down. Could you feel the center of your body and the muscles that you were using? Well, let's move on to our next pose. Bridge. To get into bridge pose, we're going to lie down. The first 2 stretches that we did were strengthening our core. This next one is going to help strengthen those muscles in our back. You might notice your back's a little bit sore because we've been sitting and not moving so much. So this is a great pose to help do that. But it's also important to do it safely so that you don't strain your back. So again, make sure you're listening to the cues before you're moving your body. Ready? Let's go ahead and come to a laying position. You're going to lay down on your mat with your feet flat on the ground and your knees in the air. Notice how I'm scooting my hips towards my feet because I want my hands to get as close to my ankles as possible. Now, what I'm gonna do is on 3, I'm gonna make sure that all of my feet are all the way pressed into the ground, and then I'm gonna raise my hips towards the ceiling. I'm gonna keep my hands flat on the ground with my palms facing down to help support me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Breathe in and lift up your hips. Good job. Now see if you can wiggle your shoulders so that you can hold your arms underneath your body with your bridge in the air and your feet firmly planted on the ground. Breathe in through your nose for 1. Breathe out for 2. Breathe in for 3. Breathe out for 4. Breathe in for 5. And on your breath out, go ahead and bring your body back down to the ground. Before you get up or move, go ahead and put your knees together with your feet out wide. And we're gonna do windshield wiper knees, meaning we're gonna just swing our knees from side to side. This helps release our back in case we were feeling any pain or sensation in it. All right, let's do one more bridge before we move on. One more time, start with your knees bent and your feet flat on the ground. Now wiggle your body down so your arms are almost touching your heels, or your hands, are almost touching your heels. And then on the count of 3, you're gonna raise up your hips, but keep your feet and your hand firmly on the ground. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Raise your hips up, breathe in. This time, see if on a breath in, you can raise your hips a little higher, and then start to work your shoulders under until maybe you can even hold your hands under your back. Now make sure your feet are still pressing firmly against the ground and that your knees haven't come out to the side. If they have, try and bring them back in alignment with your hips. Breathe in for 1, out for 2. See if on each breath in, you can raise your hips a little higher. Breathe in for 3, out for 4, in for 5, and go ahead and release down to the ground. One more time, can't forget our windshield wipers. Bring your feet out to the side, your knees together. And go ahead and windshield wiper them side to side. Good job. I want you to hug your knees and go ahead and rock yourself back and forth to get up from that pose. Now, you might see a theme. We had boats, we had bridges, we had planks, all things having to do with water. So next, we're gonna be a river. Again, river pose is another one where our brains really have to listen to our body. If we feel our hamstrings, the muscles on the backs of our legs, saying, ouch, that hurts, we need to bend our knees a little bit or not push our bodies so far. Again, whenever you do these stretches, you want to stretch until you can feel it in your body, but not so much that it hurts. So for this one, let's get started. We're going to start in the same position as before, with our bottoms on the ground and our feet out long, except the difference now is the feet are out long in front of us. On a big breath in, actually, first we're going to slightly bend our knees. Notice it's not as big of a bend as before for boat or bridge, but it's a slight bend. So we're going to breathe in, we're going to bring our arms up to the sky, and when we breathe out, we're going to start to bend forward and straighten our knees. If you can, touch your toes. If you can't touch your toes, reach for your ankles. If you can't reach for your ankles, you can put your hands on your shins. If you need to have a little micro bend, meaning a baby bend in your knees, you can go ahead and do that too. You want to avoid having any sharp pain underneath your leg, but you do want to stretch until you can feel it. Also make sure, notice how I just adjusted my back. I don't want my back to be rounded over like this. I want my back to be straight. And as I breathe in, I straighten my back. As I breathe out, I lower down a little more. Try it with me. Breathe in, straighten and lengthen your spine, and breathe out, lower. See if you can, I think I'm about at my stretch, but see if you can get a little lower for yours. Breathe in, straighten and lengthen your spine. Breathe out, lower. Think about the river flowing beneath you. Go ahead and gently round your back as you come up, sitting up to a sitting position. Nice. We're almost done. We're going to do one more stretch, and then we're going to take some resting time together to try and get our brains centered. So our last pose that we're going to do is not water related, but it's a lying twist. Twists are good to help us get out any negative energy we might feel in our bodies, and they also help strengthen our back and core muscles. That's been our focus today. So to get into a lying twist, you're going to go ahead and lay back down on your body. You're on the ground, flat on your back, and you're going to leave your knees up in the air. Your hands are actually going to be cactus hands. That means they're on either side of you with your elbows bent. So the important thing here is to keep your shoulders flat on the ground. When I twist, I don't want to have my shoulder come off the ground because then that's not helping twist my back. I want to twist only as far as I can so that my shoulders stay on the ground. So breathe in, press in firmly through your feet. Breathe out, go ahead and turn to the side, bringing your knees as far as you can, keeping both of your shoulders on the ground. Breathe in, looking up to the sky, or even over your opposite shoulder. So if my knees are bending to the left, I'm looking over my right shoulder. Breathe out. Breathe in for 2. Breathe out for 3. Breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 5. Go ahead and bring your knees back to the center. Again, just like we talked about earlier, whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other. So go ahead and adjust your body. Make sure your feet are firmly placed into the ground. Your arms are cactuses next to you and your shoulders are planted on the floor. Breathe in, and when you breathe out, let your knees drop to the other side, making sure that your shoulders are staying flat on the ground. Again, I don't want to have my shoulder or arm lift up in this stretch. I want it to stay flat on the ground. And this time, since my knees are twisting right, I'm looking to the left. Breathe in for 1, out for 2. Breathe in for 3. Breathe out for 4. Breathe in for 5. And breathe out. Bring your knees back to the middle. Before we get up, let's do our windshield wipers to keep our back safe. Your knees are together, your feet are out wide. Now, go ahead and swing your knees from side to side, just like the windshield wipers on a car. This time, instead of sitting up, we're going to go right into our rest period together. So, you can lay with your hands facing to the ceiling if you feel like you need more energy from the universe, or you can face your palms down to the ground if you want to feel more grounded and connected. It's your choice, but find a comfortable position for your body and try and get all those last wiggles out so you can find absolute stillness. Your eyes are going to gently close, and you're going to kind of just try and keep your mind clear. If you notice thoughts coming into your mind, put them in a bubble or a cloud and watch them float away. You're not ignoring them forever, just putting them there aside for now, so you can focus your mind on my words. You're continuing to lay down. I'm just going to sit up so that I can read the card for you. Our last card is a resting card, and it's called All Is Well. So you can do like this little boy in the picture is doing, or little girl. You can see it on both sides. One's a girl, one's a boy. And bring your knees to rest on top of something like your couch or a chair. Or you can lay flat on the ground like I was showing you. But whatever position you're in, find stillness. Let your eyes come to a close and just listen to my words. We're going to rest back and relax. Close your eyes and go inside. Breathe and know that all is well. Repeat softly or silently to yourself. May I be safe and loved. May I be happy and healthy. May I be kind and caring. May I know that I am well. One more time. Make sure you repeat these words after me, either in your brain to yourself or quietly in a whisper voice out loud. Sometimes it helps me to hear them out loud. Your eyes are closed. Your body's calm. Say it with me. May I be safe and loved. May I be happy and healthy. May I be kind and caring. May I know that all is well. I hope that you know in these uncertain times that all is well, even if there's lots of things that we cannot control outside of us. We can control this. We can control our breath. We can practice moving our bodies in mindful ways. And we can find rest. If you and your family would like to do more with these cards, I'll be using them in the next few lesson sequences. But if you're interested in doing more with these cards, I've talked to you about this before, again, if you're in my class. If not, this might be the first time you're hearing about them. But the cards I used today are from this great set called Yoga Pretzels. You can find it online or in a lot of major stores. So if you're super into the stretches and exercises we did today, go ahead and see if you can get your own family set, because there are a lot of great additional games that are really great for kids and families at home. Either way, thank you for tuning in. We'll keep doing mindful stretching together over the next few sequences.